I mean, I exited my life and I literally went out there and lived in a travel trailer on a piece of raw land. And so my husband was out there with me. I was doing all the things. And then in July of 2021, I came across a gal's video on TikTok and I decided to do what this gal said. She goes, I almost unalived myself over worms. And I stopped and I was like, oh my God, I thought I had worms a few years before. I have flares during the full moon. I've had things come out my skin. I've seen questionable things in my poop. I have no idea what else to do. I've got this pain on my right side that indicates I'm going to need surgery and I can't have any more surgeries. I'm like, I'm going to try it. I'm going to spend the $30. It was like my only $30 I had for the week.
My guest today was so sick that she and her husband picked up and moved from their life to a trailer in the rainforest, just trying to figure out why she was dying. It took years to find the answers, and it was not what the doctors expected. Kim Rogers, known online as the Worm Queen, is here to talk about parasites, heavy metal toxicity, Lyme disease, and mold exposure, and what she did about it, and why she believes far more people are dealing with these things than they even realize. A quick note before we dive in. This content reflects Kim's personal experiences and opinions and should not be taken as medical advice. Always talk to your own medical provider before you make health changes. Okay, let's dive in. Kim, the Worm Queen, welcome.
Thanks for having me. Very excited.
Of course, I have to start with the pivotal moment that I read in your profile about how you nearly died in 2019. Did you say in the woods?
Yep, in the woods.
Okay. So
Yep.
if you would, start us with that, please.
Okay. I'm going to intertwine so everybody understands who I am. So I'm going to do my little resume and then it leads up until what happened to me in 2019. So people don't think I'm just some random worm lady because I am the Worm Queen. I ran 25 medical colleges and I worked in Western medicine since 2004 and I hold 2 healthcare degrees. I was valedictorian over both of those degrees. And in the medical colleges that I ran after I worked in the field for over a decade, I actually wrote their curriculum and I also paired up with Cengage, Pearson, and McGraw-Hill to write the medical books, which was being introduced into the curriculum. So I really do know what I'm talking about when I discuss the human body. And it's because I love this. I love medicine. I love the human body. And so I was really at the height of my career in academia when my health in 2019 took a turn. It's really started to take a turn in around 2015 and 16. I had a really challenging 2016. I had 3 grandparents die and my mom got cancer. And so there was a lot of things going on in my lifetime that was affecting my health. And I also now know I was living in mold, which really played a big part in my health declining in 2019. It really did take me almost dying to figure out exactly what had been going on in my body. I've also had 13 surgeries and I had a hysterectomy when I was 29 years old. I was misdiagnosed after finding out 30 years I've had chronic Lyme and late stages of Lyme. I've also had parasites and mold in my body for the last 30 years. I'm 47 years old now. So when I say that I've been through it, I really have been through it on a professional level as well as a personal level. And so I found that when I decided to pass, my husband and I thought that the best thing for us to do was to move out to the woods. So we had purchased a piece of recreational property in 2016 on the outskirts of the Hoh Rainforest in Washington. And I took some of my pain to purpose and I learned how to build a log home. Built a log home with my parents about 15 years before that. And I really loved it. And I always wanted my own. But at the time, it was just going to be like a piecemeal project. It wasn't really going to be like, oh, hey, in 2019, let's sell everything, quit our careers and move out there to figure out what's going on in my body, which is what ended up happening. And so when we got out there in 2019, I was declining so rapidly, all I could really do was just move from my bed to my chair on a consistent basis. And I would get to go outside once in a while and do some things outside because I was so ill. And then in 2020, everyone was involved in the 2020, our logs got delivered onto our foundation. And that's where they stayed for a few years. So we had to figure out, I was really sick at this point. And so my husband paused our log home build to figure out how to grow mushrooms to save and help my body and brain. So I started taking my classical training. Yes.
Hold on, I'm sorry. But how did he come up with the idea of mushrooms?
Oh, it was me.
Okay, so you knew that mushrooms were going to help you heal.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
told him that he needed to start growing them.
Yes.
How did you come to that conclusion, especially with your Western medicine background?
I just started to research herbs and I started to see what herbs would be the best for what was going on with my body and what potentially could be wrong with me. And I was on Klonopin after 22 years. I was on 4 milligrams for PTSD because I had a botched hysterectomy and I had a lot of trauma in my life. And so I was trying really hard to get off of Klonopin because I was having Parkinson's like symptoms. And so I was out seeking what herb would help me get off of Klonopin. And it came up that this mushroom, Amanita, has a similar structure as Klonopin. Well, it's not like there's some way to go buy Amanita. And I lived in the rainforest where Amanita was prevalent and she literally showed up at my doorstep. And so I figured out how to break Amanita down into muscimol and ibotenic acid to allow me to slowly get myself from Klonopin over to Amanita and other types of mushrooms. But I couldn't afford to go and just buy supplements. We had to figure out a way for us to get a bulk amount and allow me to take the fruiting body as the whole. And so we figured out how to grow mushrooms in order for us to do that.
So let me just ask you questions because I interviewed somebody else who makes medicinal mushroom products, one of them with Amanita. And a few months ago, I believe he told me that he can no longer sell the Amanita mushroom products because the FDA determined that it was too toxic or something. Are you having any issues around that?
We don't sell it.
Oh, you don't sell it. Okay. So you're
Nope,
just growing it for your own use.
But that's
Got
really
it.
good to know because we actually are buying a castor oil company and we want to use Amanita in it. And so I'm going to have my husband go and research what restrictions they're causing for Amanita because
Yeah, definitely check that out. So what did it do for you?
Amanita,
Yeah.
well, it takes you out of fight or flight and puts you into rest and digest by switching off that misfiring neuron and
Okay.
allowing the neurons and the nervous system to calm down and relax. Exactly what Klonopin does. You can't patent a plant,
Right.
but they can take the DNA structure of the plant and they can make their own synthesizing, right? Rockefeller tried to eradicate the hookworm in the South because 40% of the Southerners from 1900 to 1924 were infected with it to a point where people were dying because their iron levels were so low. They were so distended, but it was because of the sanitary conditions that the South was having. Their outhouses were overflowing and then they weren't wearing shoes. So they were just running around, stepping all over these
fecal matter.
feces. Yeah, which is what's happening with cyclospora right now. It's a explosive diarrhea parasite that's from feces, from human feces.
Exactly.
We don't really think about where our produce comes from and how it's picked. But
unless we grow it ourselves.
To the bathroom. Right. Right. Then we do. But like when we're buying produce, we don't realize that the people in the fields that are actually picking our produce have nowhere to go to the bathroom. Same scenario.
Oh, so is that what they've tracked it to now?
Yeah.
Because I was wondering. Okay. And it's not Taylor Farms like they told us, or it is Taylor Farms? We don't know.
I mean, it's probably Taylor Farms in every piece of
and every
lettuce
other conventional.
and all of the produce that we eat that we don't soak and we're not cooking. All of it has parasites on it. And I think that if anything comes from what's happening right now, that I really would hope that society as a whole thinks about is that this is just one little outbreak of one little bit of a situation that we've always been in as a society, as humans. Like parasites are very prevalent. They're normal. It's natural. It's part of Earth. Other countries realize this is something that's going on. We just don't in Western medicine because it's been created to be so taboo. It was really a serious thing in the 20s.
Okay, let me see if I understand. So everybody has parasites, correct?
They can, yes.
And when it becomes an issue is when the quantity of them gets so large that they start impacting your health in negative ways. Is that right?
Correct. That's what I'm learning now. Now, if you talked to me 4 years ago,
Yeah.
it wasn't the same conversation. And that's because there isn't enough information out there. And I literally have to study something every single night because there's so much information that no one's compiled together.
So let's get back to the Amanita for a second.
Okay. Yeah.
So your husband is growing Amanita. You're taking it. No, he's not.
Can't grow Amanita. You can only
it just was
Amanita. You
okay.
cannot
You
grow
had it growing around your home
anywhere. We grew lion's mane, turkey tail, Ibin.
I
but
see.
Amanita is only forageable. She will not grow anywhere. We tried. Oh yeah, we tried.
Wow.
Whenever we would find Amanita that was like eaten by the deer around, Amanita is how Christmas came about, right?
No.
Oh yes, Santa Claus. Yeah.
Wait. The story with Amanita and Christmas.
Yeah, that's where the Christmas colors came from, is Amanita. The reindeer would eat Amanita, and then everyone would see the reindeer fly. Yeah, go look up Joe Rogan all about it. Tara is how Christmas colors and Christmas came about. People would go to bed, and then he would put the mushroom, and they would put the stockings out, and then you would have your reindeer eating it, and then people would hear flying.
Oh,
but Amanita doesn't make you see things like that. It's not a psychedelic mushroom at all. It's not like psilocybin. It's just helps reset your nervous system. So maybe all their nervous systems were just regulated back in the day.
Could be. So one thing I remember reading about Amanita, because I did look into it a little bit, aren't you supposed to not take it every day? Like, aren't you supposed to take breaks?
You can take breaks. I say psilocybin is the break taker, and Amanita has to be cooked a specific way. If you find it, here is the way you are supposed to actually prepare it.
Because it is poisonous.
It's not poisonous. It will make you feel a little yucky if you don't do it this way, but it is not going to kill you. It is not poisonous in your body.
They can't replace a pharmaceutical.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a mini stroke in 21, and because of 4 mushrooms, I was able to save my brain and not be fully stroked. So I had to learn how to hold a fork again. I had to have my husband help me shower. Do not drive anymore. I don't have that function unless it's like an emergency. And I used to be a driver.
All right. I have so many questions, but first I want to make sure that we establish what was it that was making you so sick? You had Lyme for a while. You had parasites.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mold.
Right.
And
for my whole life.
For your whole life. And that triggered this so that you almost died.
Right. So in 2016, I had stressful moments in my life.
Okay.
And then in 2019, I just could not function. And we were living in mold unknowingly in a home we were remodeling. And obviously, when you're remodeling a home, you're taking walls down. We were removing insulation. And so we just exposed it, not knowing. And I've had Lyme since I was 12, but I just found out in 2023. And I have my medical records from the day I was born because my dad was a colonel in nuclear missiles. So I really am aware of what this all looks like in life. And so I was able to now go backwards and look at when I was bit by 10 ticks when I was 12. And I started to have behavioral and health issues pretty close after that, around 13. And they just gave me antibiotics. I had strep, and I got strep in my brain. So I had pandas undiagnosed. And so over all of these years of 30 that I had no idea I had Lyme, I'm a magnet to worms, parasites, and mold. And our water was contaminated in Hoodsport, Washington, and in Seattle, by the way, with parasites, nematodes to be specific, roundworm larvae. Yeah. And I know I've had worms for a lot longer than what I've known for the last 5 years. I've thought a few years before I went viral on TikTok over the parasite cleanse that I had had worms, and my doctors gaslit me. I've been to Mexico. I drank the water. I mean, I've been around the world. I worked for an airline, so I was constantly traveling. Yeah. I ate questionably. I can't tell you how much questionable food I've eaten in my life. And so the thought that like that can't be something that would affect me, looking back now, that's why I'm so loud about this. Because you're going to forget 3 months ago you went to Mexico or you went to another country or you drank our tap water in the United States, on a daily basis, brushing your teeth. And you are never, in general population, they're not putting 2 and 2 together. And so that's why I'm here.
Okay. So does the average healthy body that's not struggling with Lyme and all these other things, do we get rid of parasites naturally on our own, or do we always have to take some sort of herb or something to help get rid of them?
We're always going to need to be proactive. Other countries cleanse.
Okay.
Other countries are proactive. Mexico, twice a year, you can go to the pharmacy and for $7 buy an anti-parasitic. They're so smart about it because we've always been told their water is terrible, where ours is worse. To be honest with you, I drink Mexico's water before I drink the United States water.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad we have a well.
Your well actually should be tested, because if you came into my emergency room and you said, I've had a stomach ache for over 10 days, my first question to you is, do you have a well?
Oh,
Because
no kidding.
well water is more susceptible to parasites than city water is.
Why?
The community well in Hoodsport, Washington, that poisoned me, it was a community well because it's in the dirt and there's no filtration system. There's no actual testing. So if you have a well and you're not filtering your water with something that is at least 40 microns or smaller, you are susceptible to having parasites.
Well, we do have a softener and we do the water through the filter in the refrigerator. So I'm hoping that's enough. That carbon block
parasites, and you're showering and you're brushing your teeth. You got to have at least like a UV protectant light that comes off of your well. There is a company that I love. They're called Blue Onyx. They're around $600 and they're specifically made for wells. And what happens is it goes into your pump station and it goes up through filtration and then it goes through a UV light. Look into it. That's the only way you should use any water from your house with a well.
Well,
Once we found out that the quote city water in Hoodsport was technically a community well. And I've always been this way with water, not just this last 5 years. I've always been really particular about my water because I'm allergic to chlorine. And so I found out that if you do this 3 filter, right, and it's around $600, $600 to $700, and it's every 6 months you change out the UV light. So you do your filter, then it goes up into the UV light, and then you have your water softener.
Yeah.
Wells are notorious and they don't give any education on wells. Like, it's wild to me. They don't tell anybody that, by the way, your well is in dirt. You are pumping it up.
I always thought municipal systems were way worse because when you go to the ewg.org website and you put in your, zip code and find out what your water system, if you're on a municipal one, has for toxins, I was like, oh, I don't have to worry about that. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry.
I'm glad you're sharing that.
Man. It is.
That's okay.
I've learned in life over the last 5 years how to be okay with like blowing people's minds, because you're brushing your teeth with this water and you're showering. So you're bathing in it, you're brushing your teeth in it, you're washing your face in it, you're cooking in it, which is fine.
It's better because you're cook. Yeah.
Right. But you just don't know what you're washing your produce. So I'm washing my produce thinking I am being so good about cleaning everything. And I'm actually making it worse and making me sicker because I had no idea. Right. And we as humans just don't fully know everything and we can't wrap our heads around it.
Let me just ask you this. But when you're detoxing, for example, or doing a parasite cleanse, is there not a danger of having too many die off at once that can then make you sick? How does it work with parasite cleanses?
So with Parify, I took all of that into account. When I went viral on TikTok, so I'll run it down.
Let's hear about that story.
Okay. So in 2019, when I was dying, and then in 2021, I started to feel a little bit better from mushrooms and really changing my diet and really getting myself into a different space. I had just exited everything. I mean, I exited my life. And I literally went out there and lived in a travel trailer on a piece of raw land. And so my husband was out there with me. So I was doing all the things. And then in July of 2021, I came across a gal's video on TikTok. I had around 10,000 followers. And I would make videos about mushrooms and building my log home. So I had a little community. And I decided to do what this gal said on TikTok. She goes, I almost unalived myself over worms. And I stopped and I was like, oh my God, I thought I had worms a few years before. I have flares during the full moon. I've had things come out my skin. I've seen questionable things in my poop. I have no idea what else to do. I've got this pain on my right side that indicates I'm going to need surgery and I can't have any more surgeries. I'm like, I'm going to try it. I'm going to spend the $30. It was like my only $30 I had for the week.
Wait, hold on. It's the pain on the right side that you thought you were going to have surgery.
It was because I had endometriosis. I had stage 4 endometriosis, and that's why I had to have a hysterectomy when I was 29.
Oh.
I had my hysterectomy, and I had 5 surgeries after because my endometriosis was so bad when really now I know it was parasites, mold, and Lyme.
So wait, you had a hysterectomy.
Yep.
And you had endometriosis after the hysterectomy?
Yep. I was also on chemo twice. So I've been put in menopause chemically, and then I was put into menopause surgically, and I still had endometriosis. And now I've developed
How does that work?
They don't know, and it wasn't all endo. It was Lyme.
I see.
It was mold. It was parasites. It was
a whole bunch
that
of different
scar
things.
tissue. But they don't know. They didn't know that. I had to figure all of this out on my own in 2021. And so I'm mad, right? I'm pissed because I have been let down by my field.
Yeah.
My field has abandoned me and I'm getting back at it.
Abandoned you because they didn't have answers.
No answers. No
and they
idea.
dismissed your symptoms and
this is how you're going to have to live the rest of your life, Kim, is what I was told. I stopped pooping for a month.
Oh, dear
and their
God.
whole thing was take some psyllium husk. And I'm like, that just makes you bloated. Like, don't you have another answer? Don't you have a reasoning to why? Well, I do now. Lyme live on scar tissue, on collagen. They really wreak havoc in your body when you have chronic illness like this and when you have surgeries. Just no way around the fact that you have to do some sort of a parasite cleanse in your lifetime. When you do a parasite cleanse, like you said, you can have die-offs. So what I did is I realized where those die-offs were on film, by the way.
Yep.
And so I did my cleanse. I immediately saw roundworm flukes and pinworms in the toilet 3 days in.
Wait, how many days do you have to do the cleanse?
Ours is 30.
30
Ours is
days,
30 days.
3 to 4 times a year.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
And then you take it 3 times a day. And it's a tincture.
Oh.
So it's so
That's easy.
simple. Yeah, I'm going to
Okay.
show you how easy it is because it's right
Okay.
behind me. And I have not taken it this afternoon.
Ah.
I take it straight, but you can put it in tea. You can put it in juice.
Does it taste strong?
Done.
Oh,
I'm
piece
done.
of cake. Wait,
was
so
it.
does it have a strong taste?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it does.
Oh, yeah.
But you're so used to
Clarify is
it.
spicy. It's clove, garlic,
Oh, got it.
alcohol. Wormwood's bitter. You got a little hop.
Yeah.
We use raw, unfiltered, unpasteurized honey. And when you bring that up to no more than 98 degrees, it keeps its medicinal value and it fights candida.
Okay.
And
All
that
right.
kinda
So,
gives it a
so
little
30
sweet.
days of this. And so you were starting to say
Yeah.
with the die-off, this product does something different with the die-off?
Yeah, so a lot of products just keep you in a killing phase. So when you're
Okay.
parasite cleansing, you're killing something, but you have to bring in support. So when you're killing, your body is being taxed, and that is what makes people have the die-offs. Whatever is inside of that biofilm and you're killing it off, it's dumping into your body. Your body is doing its job by putting a shield up and trying to push the things away. Well, the problem is that they're not always able to be pushed away. Sometimes they reabsorb. So you have to bring in specific herbs in order for you to strategically, synergistically burn their house down and pluck them out, removing them, not just moving them around. You have to remove them, but you also have to support. So I brought in herbs like cilantro for heavy metals. So heavy metal holds down the biofilm. It weights it down. When you remove the heavy metals with the cilantro, it releases, again, other toxins. And so now you're like, well, what other toxins? Well, viruses. So I brought in usnea. It's a beautiful herb. Well, to break the biofilm, I brought in lungwort lichen. Then I brought in cilantro in order for you to remove heavy metals. Then I brought in dandelion in order for you to support your liver because it's being taxed. And then I brought in hawthorn in order to support your heart and your blood because they're in our blood, our tissue, and our muscle. And when you bring in all of these different herbs strategically, you don't have the die-offs like you normally would if you don't do it in a kit. And then at night you have to bind. And that's one thing that I
That
lost
was going to be the
in
key word
translation.
that I was looking for, binding, because that's what I have
Yes.
heard. You got to bind all that stuff to help excrete it better.
Mm-hmm. So
Okay.
what a binder is,
Okay.
ours is called cinnamon, and it's coconut activated charcoal and Ceylon cinnamon. A binder is a negatively charged herb that is a magnet to positively charged toxins. So as you're dumping all of these things into your body, the binder comes in, binds it, and moves it out. So it's not going out your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your skin, your urine. We're really trying to bind it so it doesn't reabsorb back into your body, causing issues. And I didn't bind at the beginning of my cleanses. I actually ended up getting Epstein-Barr virus after testing negative my whole life. So whatever worm I had EBV in its body. And when I killed it off, I didn't bring something in like Usnea to help remove that virus. It just went into my body and caused me to get sick.
Oh my God. All right. So wait,
That's
your
what I
TikTok
learned.
moment.
Yep.
We didn't finish that story, did we?
So in 2021, I went viral on TikTok. And when I say viral, it wasn't just like, oh yeah, a couple thousand. 1 million people in 2 hours watched me, and I gained 200,000 followers overnight. I currently have 1.5 million followers across all of my platforms, including my own podcast and my business's platforms. So I started reading their comments because this is the way to get information that isn't out there. You have to gather that somehow. So that's what I did. As I'm going viral, I'm reading the comments. I'm understanding you got to have a binder. You really need to release heavy metals. You should use wormwood. I like using wormwood and Oregon
So people
grapefruit.
are commenting all of this stuff
Yes.
on your video. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I'm studying, right? Because I come from Western medicine. I understand the human body. It's the same whether you take herbs or you take Big P. It's still the same human body. We're all similar, right? I'm then going into other countries' medicine. Do other countries do this? What is their protocols? Like Jamaica does a tea every month called the bush. You've got Nigeria. They take a synthetic, but they take sugar cube with it. So I'm reading, what did our ancestors do? What can I do? So July, I went viral. August, September, I literally just like focused and honed in on videos. I was making 5 to 10 a day.
And you're focusing on your particular process of getting
What I
rid of
might
it.
make for my own kit too.
So you're learning, but you're sharing videos around your experience of getting rid of these worms.
Yes, with other people's products.
Okay.
Yep.
And then you made your own.
I did. Yep.
Cool. How long before you felt better?
3 days after my first cleanse. I knew. It was so validating to me, Amy. It was so validating because I knew there was something that I was missing for all of these years. I knew there was something they were missing. I knew I was being gaslit in a lot of different ways. I knew this wasn't the end. From 2019 to 2021, I cried out a lot to the universe saying, this isn't the end for me. This can't be everything. And I don't mean this in a bad way, but like, this can't be my life. I'm out in the woods trying to
You don't want to go through all of this stuff and have no resolution or some good stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Oh my gosh.
And I'm smart and I ran colleges and I've been just abandoned. Like, I don't have anybody to go to. How is this possible? Now I know it was meant that way so that I could figure it out on my own, to be able to come forth and have a pain to purpose and an experience that I was able to bring my life from before to my life now. I'm out there building a log home. And so looking at it in a bigger picture, when I cried out to the universe, it listened. It was like, just go through it, Kim, just get after it. And I'll make sure whatever happens, it's a good thing for you, you know?
Wow. So you had the trust of that. And so did you ever go back to those doctors and say, hey, guess what? There was a reason for all of this. And here's what happened. Did anybody, how did they respond to that?
One of them cleanses.
Ooh,
was
validation.
the hardest saying no. Her name's Beth. Love her. She's great. She said there's no way you could have worms. And guess what? She has worms. Yep. She cleanses often. Her patients now cleanse often. Anybody that comes to her and has endometriosis, she forces them to cleanse because
Ooh,
it's
and
so important.
so what are some of the other signs that somebody has worms that they might notice?
Itching. That's a new one that I'm learning. Like
Oh.
so many symptoms come up. We have to go and read so many different medical studies and like piecemeal them together. One of the things that I was shocked about was it's on your hands and your feet when you're itching. So if you're like itching the bottom of your feet or the top of your feet, you should really look at doing a cleanse. But the biggest one that gets everyone is grinding your teeth.
Grinding your teeth?
Yep.
Well, that's wild.
So physiologically, the reason why you grind your teeth, most people think is because of stress.
Yeah.
But because parasites and worms can actually absorb calcium and magnesium that you need because they've hijacked your nervous system, it's your
Ooh.
body actually telling you something's going on. And we just think that it's stress. And at nighttime specifically, because they're nocturnal creatures, they live at night. They're actually up all night, hijacking your nervous system and causing you stress while you're trying to sleep. And you're grinding your teeth and they're absorbing all of your calcium and magnesium that stops you from doing that.
God.
So insomnia,
Okay.
sugar cravings,
Yep.
IBS, IBD,
Yep.
bloating immediately after eating or drinking water.
Okay. So just for folks, in case somebody doesn't know, IBS is irritable bowel syndrome, and IBD, what's
Is
the D?
diarrhea.
Oh, okay.
So you got
All
like
right.
one extreme to the other.
Okay, gotcha.
That's because how is that parasite actually wreaking havoc? Like right now with cyclospora and the explosive diarrhea. Well, now you're in IBS world, but now you're in IBD,
Yeah.
right? And so you could go to IBC because they cause your colon to get inflamed. It's a die-off of theirs because they don't want to leave.
Yeah.
And so that can happen when you're parasite cleansing as well, even when you take a binder because you're binding. So it can cause you constipation, but you're not on the toilet all the time with our cleanse. It's very gentle. It's
Okay.
very, very gentle. We've sold over 350,000 kits. There's a lot of people that cleanse.
Well, I'm going to have to try it, obviously.
Oh my gosh, we have to talk when we're done because I'll send you a kit.
Oh, fantastic. Should we never eat sushi again?
No. Did you know that 10,000 parasite eggs can live in 1 square inch of raw salmon?
Oh my
Amy,
God.
it's serious.
Yeah.
And
that's so sad because I have loved
I
sushi.
love it. It's in all fish. And
when you cook the fish
it's fine.
adequately, it's fine.
Right. Freezing it is not. I'm sorry. It is a hill I will die on.
Okay.
A 46,000-year-old worm woke up in Russia from the permafrost and started eating and producing babies. I mean, that's as cold as you actually 50,000-year-old in Siberia.
This is where they originated?
No, they've originated all over.
Okay.
They have been here longer than us and they will be here longer than us. They're smarter than us. They're stealthy. That's why testing is so difficult. Parasites that are causing us to not use our brains to the full capacity that we should be using. And other countries know this is a thing. Mind-boggling to me is that we in Western medicine just think that, oh, it can't happen to us. We're a first world country.
So anyway,
Amy, you can test your water.
Because we do test it. Well, we have to test it for the
parasites.
What's that?
Does it test for parasites?
Not for the organic farm certification, but I'm trying to think if we did that when we initially dug it. I know we tested for a bunch of stuff when we first dug the well. I don't remember if parasites was one of the things.
You want to do it a couple of times a year.
I think the lab that we've used for the other stuff must have that as an option, I'm going to guess.
Okay, so Legacy Scan.
Oh, haven't heard of that one.
And there's only 2 companies that I am fully aware of that test for parasites in their water. And when we first figured out it was probably our water, well, I figured it out. My husband denied it. He was totally in a, this isn't us, this isn't happening. And I'm like, I don't care what you think, you're sending it off. Okay. And it came back positive. So I'm like, I was not that I wanted to be right.
Right. But you just knew.
I just knew.
So you send your water sample to this Legacy Scan company and they will test it for parasites. Okay.
Yes. And I actually like parasites.org too. You can look at both of them.
Oh my God, Kim, there's so much information here.
So much. I'm a wealth of knowledge.
Yes,
because
you
I just
are.
want everybody to heal. I really
Absolutely.
it's etrlabs.com. And I'm glad I'm doing this because I've got to go and sit in my link tree.
Okay.
They have one specific for well water, and then they have
Oh.
one that's specific for city water.
Okay.
Ever done parasites.org, which is where I found out that Seattle's water also was positive for nematodes in it. I've only done that one.
And there's beneficial and non-beneficial nematodes, right? Because I know we've used beneficial nematodes for organic farming.
Yeah, I mean, they have a purpose, and the purpose of a parasite is they're decomposers. They break things down. But what's needing to be broken
But we don't
down
need that in the
your
body.
Right.
It's one
Right.
thing in the soil, but not in the body.
Totally.
Okay,
Or your
so-
pets.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we deworm our animals. We got to be deworming ourselves. And I recommend for an animal dewormer, Safeguard is fenbendazole. It's a powder. Put it in their food once a month. And
Oh.
if you have a pet, you have parasites. There's no way around.
Yeah.
Again, another thing I will die on that hill because 100% of pet owners do not deworm themselves. They deworm the dogs. They're out there licking their poop. My dogs tracked it. I had the same worm as my dog, roundworm. They tracked it all over my house. I thought we were cleaning it all up right. They're microscopic. They got into bed with us. You just don't know.
Yes,
so why not be
oh my gosh. Okay. So one final thought that you want to leave us with, and then also how to get in touch with you.
You can get in touch with me on my website, RogersHood.com. You can find me on my platforms, Mrs. Rogers Hood. That's MRSROGERSHOOD. You can Google me, Kim Rogers, the Worm Queen.
Yep.
I have bossed so hard, I'm Googleable now. And my podcast is What's Eating You with the letter U, where I have long form in all of this that I talk about, as well as showing you all of the healing modalities that I've done to get myself to the point that I'm at now. I go and visit all of the facilities so you can actually see exactly what I'm doing so you don't need to be afraid. And a thought that I would like to leave with everyone is don't be afraid. We should be parasite cleansing in our bodies for at least 3 to 4 times a year to be proactive. If you don't know what is going on and you feel like something is off and you have a lot of brain fog, it's not going to hurt you to cleanse. It's going to make you feel better. We're going to help you with candida. We're going to help you with parasites. We're going to help you with worms, heavy metals, inflammation, mucus. You might lose a little bit of weight. You might just feel a little bit better, but you got nothing to lose but some worms.
Oh my gosh. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's probably enough for people to digest.
I have free resources if you want to download my free ebooks.
Oh,
I have
yeah.
about 10 of them.
On your website, you have the free resources. Okay, cool. Well, I'll make sure that all this info is in the show notes.
Awesome.